Join us round the fire as we tell heroic tales of times before away from shore. Yes, times when we set sail. We'll fill your dreams with warriors, with treasure and with beasts, and women much more charming than you'd possibly believe. We'll have meat, bread, and wine, ale and other brews. Meat for good measure, since meat is only food. Juicy roasted chicken, pork, filled sausages, and beer. We'll sing and laugh and dance and hope to live another year. If we're still awake, we'll play our instruments all night and sing again of mighty men and queens and daring fights. We'll fill your dreams with pirate ships, with whales and giant squid, and cities burning to the ground through evil deeds we did. We'll have meat, bread, and wine, ale and other brews. Meat for good measure, since meat is only food. Juicy roasted chicken, pork, filled sausages, and beer. We'll sing and laugh and dance and hope to live another year. Here's to good health, to a long happy life, to many more days and warm festive nights. Here's to our women and the song that we sing. But enough of that, just grab your glass and have another drink. Strange. I look to the stars in the dead of the night and I feel my life has changed. But to remember lost heroes, our friends, our comrades gone. Let's raise our cups up to the sky and drink and eat till dawn. We'll have meat, bread, and wine, ale and other brews. Meat for good measure, since meat is only food. Juicy roasted chicken, pork, filled sausages, and beer. We'll sing and laugh and dance and hope to live another year. Here's to good health, to a long happy life, to many more days and warm festive nights. Here's to our women and the songs that we sing. But enough of that, just grab your glass and have another drink. Here's to good health, to a long happy life.
Where stifling those unwilling cries, it turns into a bore. One night like this, our lecherous crew did scour a town we sacked for a brothel or a house where we could bathe in tits and twat. We burst into a wooden building wrought with hanging rags. We're pleased to find a slew of willing prostitutes and slags. The stench it filled our nostrils, and the sights they sting our eyes. But the ladies gave us booze and had us wrapped between their thighs. Sailors, men, and buccaneers, beware the hooker's knife. For a lady with a juicy gland is not what would you like. We sing to you a song where through the night we nearly lost our ringing boots, our swords, our guns, our jewels, and our cocks. We tossed aside our guns, our swords, our axes, and our blades. After all, we hail from onward, why should we be afraid? The skillful whores had us engorged, relaxed, and then subdued, and began their matronly attack whilst we were in the nude. 'Twas halfway through a lovely screw when we first saw the gleam of this portly gypsy scimitar as he charged us with a scream. With a crash we leapt to action, we dodged her for our lives, but before the bitch could stab us, castle jizzed into her eyes. floozies had us cornered with our own damn swords and guns. Whilst our asses backed against the wall, painted and cum. As the girls closed in on us, we had but one choice left: to phone our way through all these gals and give them all the shaft. In a blur of pubes and chest hair, the beaver bashing banged, the hefty and the skinny, every chick was wanged. We scampered through the exit, and although we dodged the trap, the following day we're sad to say we all had caught the clap.
Sailors, men, and buccaneers, beware the hooker's knife. For a lady with a juicy clam is not quite worth your life. We sing to you a song quite true, the night we nearly lost. Our ringing boots, our swords, our guns, our jewels, and our cocks. Ha!
Slash their lungs and throats. Fill our goblets with the wine that flows out from their veins. Terrorize their mortal souls and piss on their remains. Fuck their women, raise their hopes, spread immorality. Take their treasure for our greed, our duplicity. Make them pay for nothing more than standing in our way. Ostracize their thoughts and dreams that piss on their remains. Berserker!
All according to plan. I go in, I fucking commit suicide, but I take every ult with me. They're all fucking doing their ults, so I'm just like, here's my head gone, arms gone, legs gone, everything's dead. I'm just fucking a gelatinous pile of dog shit. And then we win the game. Literally, everyone focused me so that my team could win. It was kind of an int, but at the same time, I did enough to make it worth. I did enough to make it actually worth. That was good. Sacrifice, yeah. I think didn't I drop the ult and I landed one combo. I don't know if it hit anything, but I know I dropped the ultimate, which was good enough. Soraka got fucking ran down like an animal. She was dead instantly, so that made it a 4v4, and since our team was just stronger all around because my ult was still fucking dropping, it was just good. That was a good game no matter what. I made 2 misplays. The last play was a misplay, and the Baron play was a misplay. Those were the 2 misplays I did all game. Which pretty much could have cost us the game, because I was thinking, like, if they beat us, I could have actually won us the game, so it was my bad. But there was 2 misplays that were pretty bad. Almost cost us the fucking game. Almost. We're 1 game from D4 promos. What about the 1v1 with Kazakhs and flash away? I mean, you can't counterplay stealth. Unless you put a barrel down and blow it up on you without seeing the fucking person you're fighting, stealth is just not beatable. Especially if the guy pops out of stealth and literally does 10,000 damage. Where I chased and flashed away. That wasn't really a mistake, because I didn't die. Dying is the mistake, mostly. YouTube guides? No. I don't have any. Feels bad. Dying is the worst mistake you can do on GP, in my opinion. Like, missing barrel combos that would cost you a game, sure. But, like, there's too much. Too much to do when you're up. Wasting flash was a mistake? Not really. Not really. Because I backed, and we killed their entire team. Like, all of us collectively, all 3 of us top were the issue. It wasn't my mistake alone. I'm only looking at mistakes I made, not us together. Because all 3 of us got baited by fucking Kazakhs, and they were trying to end the game. And then he came close enough, because I was trying to back in the bush, and I got, like, screwed by minions.
So back to game battles. Halo 3 game battles matches were amazing. I miss the old Halo days. LAN parties and all. Do
Yep.
you ever play Master Chief Collection? They
Nah.
just put all games on designated servers so no more lag and all games feel like you have host.
Oh shit. Wait, so there's actually is Halo if Halo 3 is still a game that's playable, I'll buy it. Cuz that was like one of the best games ever. Halo 3 era. Oh man, coming home every day and playing like I played team doubles. I played team doubles. That was my shit. I got like the highest rank in team doubles or whatever the fuck it was. That was my jam. Are you talking? For now, yeah. Facecam will come back. Just don't worry about it. Myth.
Additionally, an esports game mode focuses heavily on team cooperation and strategy to achieve victory, but because Fortnite is so unique and it doesn't have much in common with any other games that were being played in the competitive scene at the time, it sort of became the Wild West of competitive gaming. Aside from grabbing a wager match for a few dollars on one of these third-party sites, there really wasn't much of a competitive scene. However, even though the future of Fortnite competitive gaming was very unclear, organizations began picking up players and building pro rosters, which fed the hype for Fortnite and pushed people who wanted to become pro players to get better and better. People began putting in more effort in their social medias and working harder to become a big name like Myth. Everybody wanted to see Myth compete in a LAN event with all the other big names in the community. Everybody was convinced that Myth was the best player in the game, if not the best. Until, well, he started competing in LAN events. Once actual Fortnite tournaments began happening and hundreds of players began showing up at the single events, people started to see that Myth really wasn't the best player ever. Don't get me wrong, I definitely think he's a really great pro player and he does deserve respect for the skill he has in the game, but I can confidently say that he is not the best. Myth's skill was definitely lacking, and it wasn't until LAN tournaments began to occur that people saw how he performed when he's pitted in a death match against some of the best players in the world. I mean, people showed up to these tournaments that could build like this.
The cape is actually amazing.
Yeah.
That's a cool skin, I'm not gonna lie.
Whoa, what?
That's actually a badass fucking skin. I didn't know that. I didn't know they had actual cool skins. I thought everything was like gross. That's cool.
Whoa, what? Oh,
Okay. All right. I've never seen
That's cool.
a base be built quicker. That was impressive.
see, he's going straight towards this guy. He just
Yeah.
doesn't care. Oh my.
Dude, I love these builds. It's crazy. All right, I gotta practice. Look at that editing though. This guy's insane.
He is.
I can't keep up. Like he's.
How
just-
old is he?
Can't function.
13.
Oh. Okay, so apparently
Russia
this is a
wins.
5 skill. This is like
His social blade even reflects the statement, showing that the peak of his channel growth was during the same month of the big tournament, where he choked hard. However, that isn't the biggest problem that factored into Myth's downfall. Don't get me wrong, a lot of people definitely stopped watching him when they saw he wasn't as good as they thought he was, but there's actually something a lot worse that Myth did than perform badly in tournaments. But we'll get into that in just a second. Next, we're going to talk about Fortnite in its early stages. So when Fortnite was in its early stages, the potential growth was insane. As the competitive scene began to develop and more streamers switched into Fortnite, the community began to get very saturated with content and personalities. Now that Myth's reputation was a little damaged, a lot of his followers began to expand their search for content. On top of that, Fortnite reached its peak in terms of popularity online. So at that point, viewers were beginning to disperse amongst a lot of creators, and someone like Myth was beginning to lose viewership to other content creators since there weren't enough new viewers to compensate for the viewers Myth was losing. Other streamers were given a chance to grow and they took advantage of it. It makes sense. There's a lot more people streaming the game, more people getting better and better, and if Myth's reputation of being the best was no longer the case, what's stopping people from finding someone else to watch? Not only that, but with the addition of Builder Pro being added to console players began being able to compete with PC players, and the fact that Myth was on a PC became less of an advantage.
Small parts.
God, what the fuck?
On top of that, other players such as FaZe Cloak and Tfue absolutely dominated the tournament scene, winning Friday Fortnite 4 times in the span of a couple months. I'd say that Tfue stole the crown from Myth when it came to skill.
Grenade launcher, God. Watch this Pog shit. He's so good, man. Whoa! Although that was legit, I'm not gonna lie, that was pretty legit. I don't give a fuck about Fortnite or the Fortnite streamers, but like that was good. You got to admit.
Suddenly at the same time, Myth's reputation became less notorious. There were other names coming up in the Fortnite community. Other people were stealing the community hype, and Myth became very stagnant in terms of growth. About 5 months ago, before the competitive scene began to form, and before other streamers began to pick up steam, Myth could post any video and get 1 to 2 million views simply because he was above average skill and there weren't many content creators
It's not
to
even
compete with
2
him.
million views,
He'd
though.
post stream highlights or full
Or a
gameplays
mil.
like many popular players do, and he'd get views because people simply wanted to watch him play. It wasn't until the incident in Vegas where we saw a dramatic decrease in his views. The hype for Myth was dying a lot, and clips were going viral of him less and less, and players like Tfue would begin to shine through, and they were the ones getting the viral clips instead, which led to even less viewership flooding into his channel, which made it die even more. But even all this isn't the worst thing that Myth did. The next thing we're going to talk about is the fatal mistake he made after his decline began, and a specific clip that was very instrumental in his downfall. But real quick, I've got a challenge for you guys, and you only have
That's
5 seconds
absolute cancer. Look at this
to
cancerous video.
accomplish it. Drop a like and subscribe, and if you're able to accomplish this
Yikes.
in the next 5 seconds, then you will have 5 years of incredible luck. Just the luckiest things will start
Wait,
happening.
he starts talking about dead channels and like what ruined careers. Look at this cancerous garbage. Like, within 5 seconds, drop a like, subscribe, and you'll have 5 years of luck. Like, what the fuck?
Happening to you. So just trust me, try it. It really works, and let's get back into the video.
Wait, trust me, try it. It really works.
5 years of incredible on his downfall.
What do I gotta
So
do?
real quick, I've got a challenge for you guys, and you only have 5 seconds to accomplish it. Drop a like and subscribe, and if you're able to accomplish this in the next 5 seconds, then you will have 5 years of incredible luck. Just the luckiest things will start happening to you. So
Yeah.
just trust me, try
Yikes,
it.
dude.
It really works, and let's get back into the video.
Yo, what is up guys? It's Myth here, and I just want to say that this video is going to be sponsored by Rainbow Six. Rainbow Six is going to be free to play August 16th to 19th, so go ahead and check it out then. For more info, click the link in the description below. Got him.
Oh, nice.
How did I do, dude? What did I... Oh my god, I'm 11-2? I'm a god!
Ugh.
Woo!
If you would have told me that Myth would start streaming games other than Fortnite anytime soon, I probably never would have believed you. However, Myth began playing other games on stream such as Rainbow Six Siege. On top of that, he also did disclose that the Rainbow Six videos on his YouTube channel and his stream were in fact sponsored by the game. So financially, I think Myth was playing it safe here. He knew that his views were going down, and if he wanted to keep his income somewhat consistent, he'd need to find a way to make up for those lost views. Sponsorships are a great way to do exactly that, but I think in the long run, making sponsored videos and doing sponsored streams for games that aren't Fortnite could hurt him, and it's not even necessarily his fault. If you're
I mean, they hurt everyone unless you're like... I think the one person who does sponsorships amazingly is Cutie Pie.
known
Because
for
the
something,
guy literally bashes the game. But in like low-key, you know, just him being himself.
whether it's a game or a style of video, and then you totally change it up, not as many people are going to be drawn in. So taking his social media presence down the path of variety gaming could be very dangerous for him. It makes sense that his viewers wouldn't want to watch him
Dangerous.
play Rainbow Six. Rainbow Six is a
Rainbow
competitive
Six.
first-person shooter that is built
So garbage. Let's look up League is dying, right? League dead game.
League of Legends is, or at least used to be, the biggest game in the world, managing to reach well over 67 million.
Let's read some comments of some really shitty players. I mean, Candy, I met this guy. He was really cool. I mean, it's literally the players. It's just the fucking shitty players at the game. If you're bad at the game, you're gonna hate it. You know, naturally you can hate something for whatever reason, but like typically when it comes to League of Legends, you fucking suck. Of course you're gonna hate the game.
Players. League has been around ever since the 27th of October 2009, where it essentially redefined the MOBA genre, and was what started the sudden boom of all these MOBA games. You know what I mean. I'm talking about Smite, Infinite Crisis, Strife, Heroes of the Storm, Guardians of Middle-earth, which
Huh?
was truly revolutionary for the genre, but not as revolutionary as Adventure Time Battle Party. I mean, truly this was a sleeper hit. I can remember my early days of playing League. My friend initially got me into it as he taught me the game. He was like Diamond 78, so in many ways he was my sensei and
Funny.
guide on the way in this cruel and toxic world. I have so many memories of working my way up and grinding levels
That's funny.
up until that glorious level 30 where I could finally come and join the big boys up in ranked. Or how about my first pentakill? I mean, really, you could have sex, or you could get a pentakill in League. Now try and tell me which one feels better.
I mean, This guy's only gotten one, though. One of those two options. I don't know what this video is getting at so far, but yikes.
I think the answer is obvious. At the time, League just seemed so much more appealing to me. Not being oversaturated with the MOBA genre as I am now, it all seemed so fresh to me. There was something appealing about it. Maybe it had something to do with League's cast of iconic and lovable and pure badass characters.
Pure.
I'm talking Renekton, Nasus, Ezreal, Teemo.
Wait, badass, by the way.
Bigfoot, Nautilus, Horseshoe, Green Goblin, Shrek.
Wow!
But League these days is just a shadow of his former self. There's no doubt this shit is still huge, managing to pull in as many players, tournament earnings, and stuff like that. But back in the old days, almost everyone I knew was playing League of Legends, at least occasionally. Nowadays, you'd be lucky to find 3 guys who even know what a League of Legends is. It's been around for pretty much
League of Legends is, even if the game died, people would still know the game.
like 10 years now, so you can't exactly blame the fuckers at Riot Games for the game dying. But they're not totally innocent here. These bastards have completely fucked the game in my opinion. Some of it isn't directly their fault, but these bozos don't know how to run a game too well either.
They don't. Okay, yeah, this little fucking insect. I love using that word, insect. They don't know how to run a game. Does this guy have? I guarantee you, this dude has no experience with any of this shit. Zero. They just say the game sucks, it's trash, balanced team garbage. Zero fucking knowledge of how any of it works. Simple. And I guarantee you, this guy's probably silver. Probably silver. So, you know, the complaints can come. And come in vast quantities.
Now tell me, how many times have you recalled League of Legends announcing a new character? You may be excited for their design, or perhaps their lore is pretty good. For instance, they added lore that Pantheon was actually a world-famous baker who was hired by Domino's himself to make the ultimate pizza base, which I mean is just a groundbreaking story overall. But regardless of this, I'd be willing to bet you my PC, Game Boy, and all of my action replay discs that any character released would be OP and unbalanced as shit. Besides maybe Bard, I seriously cannot think of a single new character that hasn't been batshit broken on release. Yasuo came out and dominated every game with his stupidly OP passive and his skill set, to this day still being fairly strong. Fizz for a solid few years was so broken that he could basically two-shot any ADC. Of course, he's fairly toned down now, but this shit used to be crazy. And the most recent case of this, Pyke. So it's fairly clear to me that Riot Games do not understand what balancing is. They failed to grasp the entire concept of it.
You stupid. This guy's like, this is making me angry. You release a character and you nerf him gradually, or you buff him gradually. When you release something, of course it's not going to be fucking perfect. Like, how do you expect to release the perfect champion? There's reasons they update and fucking buff or nerf characters. Like, I'm all for bringing out the most broken cocksucking character as long as it gets nerfed down the line. Right? That's fine.
But I think what's more of a hindrance is that the game honestly lacks any updates with some sort of substance. Think about it. It's the same problem Overwatch has, where the only proper things added to the game are new characters, which keep it somewhat fresh for maybe a week at the most, but after that, the game is quite literally the same. Compared to games that are constantly adding new shit that change the gameplay completely. This stuff is weak as hell. You could argue that the season changes are big enough, but as is with the characters, they really only keep it fresh for a week or two. The game itself plays out mostly the same every time, so it doesn't offer much in the long run. And so eventually, you're just gonna get sick of this shit and bored out of your mind. There's only so many times you can shoot a big ass bitch before you sit down and think to yourself, what the fuck am I doing? As with most
competitiveness and boring, frustrating gameplay. Well, frustrating is because you fucking suck, first of all. The game wouldn't be frustrating if you're good. Let's just say that. Can we all agree? Agree.
Competitive games, League is just far too competitive at times. I mean, I guess you shouldn't really expect much else, seeing as League is the most popular esport. But it's just not fun when every player you come into contact with, and honestly sometimes yourself, take this shit way too seriously. It's probably down to the toxic community, but...
Well, you take it seriously when you're playing ranked, because your time is gambled. It's literally you're gambling your time away, right? That's why I believe, I mean, rank should be toxic. Rank should be the way it is, just not fucking leaving the game and shit, you know?
I'll be getting into that piece of shit later on. It's just not fun when you have to sweat and follow the exact metas at the time if you want a slight chance of winning. You know, you always gotta have a geezer top lane, a homie in the middle, a wild cunt in the jungle, and then an internet e-dating couple in the bottom lane. And you always gotta have the best characters at the time. You think you could pick someone you actually...
Bruh, what? He's playing a normal game.
like? Well, get ready for everyone to cry because these bastards can't handle losing in an online video game. But this is all just a byproduct of how boring, mundane, and easily frustrating the core of the game actually is. It's not fun to spend the first 20-ish minutes of the game farming
20 minutes farming? Bro, this guy's bronze. Yo, where the fuck is... Does he link his OPGG? Interesting.
random minions. It's not fun grouping up 50 times to have a team fight where it's a coin toss on who actually wins.
What? What? Is it a coin? That's how... What? My brain's hurting. Team fights are a coin toss, by the way, on who actually wins. Wait, what the fuck? This is bronze. There's no valid opinion here. It's just... I don't know, man.
The game just isn't very fun. You could be playing so many more exciting and fun games.
Oh my god, that was coin toss. We team fought when the score was 41-20. Yes, coin flip.
Grouping up 50 times to have a team fight where it's a coin toss on who actually wins. The core of the game just isn't very fun. You could be playing so many more exciting and fun games compared to this.
Overwatch fun, yeah! It's legit a bronze game. I don't know, man. Yikes, fucking cringe. Beyond cringe.
Their hearts to split your skin and bones. Kill them all and take no prisoners. Slash their lungs and throats. Fill our goblets with the wine that flows out from their veins. Terrorize their mortal souls and piss on their remains. Fuck their women, raise their hopes, spread immorality. Take their treasure for our greed, our duplicity. Make them pay for nothing more than standing in our way. Ostracize their thoughts and dreams and piss on their remains. Berserker! Their village, mutilate, violate and curse. Open up their head with hammers, show them what they're worth. Golden jewels, magic rings, and swords from long lost reigns. Mesmerize their daughters while we piss on their remains. Slaughter all that's in our path, be it man or foul beast. Suck their land and steal their food till pillaging is complete. Fault is theirs for being there, they knew that we're insane. Victimize them, rape them, beat them, drink their blood and fucking eat them. Break their bones and drop our pants and shit on their remains. Berserker!
summer night at a shady seaside saloon. A man walked in, sat down at our table, and he told us the story that was the basis of this tune. Now, we'd never seen his face before, but since he just came to port, we decided that we should hear him out. He seemed a trustworthy sort. Well, the governor's skull was being moved, you see, and it was loaded on his ship. The man only wanted a small cut for his trouble, he said, just a little bit. Well, needless to say, we graciously agreed. We were looking for trouble as usual. We decided when we'd go and where we'd meet. Job's execution would be beautiful. Let's rock! Well, there we were at the edge of the docks, waiting for the guard to turn around. We saw our chance, then made our move, all without making the slightest sound. We slid up the plank, then down into the hold. We tore that place apart, but not with weight of gold. We looked at one another, we all know the same thing. How could this have happened? What were we to do? Somebody talked. Who found out? Who was it? Who was you? There's nothing here. We've been sold out. Something's dreadfully wrong. The bed in the bar, it must have been. Like you brought us along. Well, everyone please just settle down. Settle down. We've been betrayed. Well, we got in so we could get away. For a group like us, it should be child's play. We scurried around the room, no other way out. We heard the footsteps coming, the guard began to shout. Our heads began to swim, what were we to do? How could we have been trapped by these blundering buffoons? We need to form a plan right now. If not now, soon. Then bang, bang, bang! A knock comes to the door. One voice, two voice, three voice, four.
Wait, I hear a fit, and they have something to say.
How could this have happened? It must be foul play. They said all of you. Put your weapons down. You're outnumbered. You haven't got a chance. Stand down.
At that moment, we formed a little plot. I took his eyebrows, a wink and a shared thought.
And we said, we're the trekker of Arnwood. Who stands against us? Tonight we teach you a lesson. Tonight we spill your guts. We don't care if you don't believe us, but this is how it all went down. We played those pompous sons of whores and sacked their fucking town. If you hold your tongues, you get to keep them in your throats. And if you try to fight, you'll be murdered on this boat. And whoever threw it, you will fucking ravage all your lands. We'll beat your bloody corpses with your children's severed hands. We stomped out to our places, all around the room. They looked at one another, oblivious to their doom. We all looked at each other, we then began to shout. They mustered up their arms, they thought they had a chance. 1, 2, 3, 4, died in a fucking dance. We hacked and slashed, far away back home. Never found the treasure, but their blood's as good as gold. We burned the dead men's carcasses and made out with their wives. And to this very day, that was the best damn day of our lives.
and I have strange power of speech. I know the man who must hear me, to him my tale I teach. God save the ancient mariner from beams that plague thee thus. Why look'st thou so? With my crossbow I shot the albatross. Where rape becomes a chore, where stifling those unwilling cries it turns into a bore. One night like this our lecherous crew did scour a town we sacked, for a brothel or a house where we could bathe in tits and twat. We burst into a wooden building wrought with hanging rags. We're pleased to find a slew of willing prostitutes and slags. The stench it filled our nostrils, and the sights they sting our eyes. But the ladies gave us booze and had us wrapped between their thighs.
Sailors, men, and buccaneers, beware the hooker's knife, for a lady with a juicy clam is not quite worth your life. We sing to you a song where through the night we nearly lost our ringing boots, our swords, our guns, our jewels, and our cocks.
We tossed aside our guns, our swords, our axes, and our blades. After all, we hail from onward, why should we be afraid? The skillful whores had us engorged, relaxed, and then subdued, and began their matronly attack whilst we were in the nude. 'Twas halfway through a lovely screw when we first saw the gleam of this portly gypsy scimitar as she charged us with a scream. With crash we leapt to action, we dodged her for our lives, but before the bitch could stab us, castle jizzed into her eyes. Floozies had us cornered with our own damn swords and guns, whilst our asses backed against the wall, painted and cum. As the girls closed in on us, we had but one choice left, to phone our way through all these gals and give them all the shaft. In a blur of pubes and chest hair, the beaver bashing banged, the hefty and the skinny, every chick was wanged. We scampered through the exit, and although we dodged the trap, the following day we're sad to say we all had caught the clap.
Sailors, men, and buccaneers, beware the hooker's knife, for a lady with a juicy clam is not quite worth your life. We sing to you a song right through the night we nearly lost our ringing boots, our swords, our guns, our jewels, and our cocks.
Not many
myself disgust. An adult thought suggests I use the sea to quench my thirst. 3 days ago I would have bet my life that I'd have drowned to escape my watery grave. Cannon fire deep in my stomach alone. Dedicated to a forgotten sack of bones. Hallucination and aberration, demon from below. Don't tell me about perdition, I don't think you know. With water till I'm bursting at the seams, then vomit out the evil blood that courses through my being. 3 days ago I would have given up this evil life to escape this watery grave. Cannon fire, demon fire, life was overblown. Cascaded, twisted, hostile kingdom overthrown. Hallucination, aberration, demon from below. Don't tell me about perdition, I don't think you know. Someone wiser than myself once said that rape and died before their time. But no one ever told me that the greatest are remembered or forgotten for their crimes. Ha 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 ha. Dried out flesh, it drinks my life away, but leave me with the things of which I prefer not to say. 3 days ago my tombstone would have been fit for a king. Now this blossom of his half will have to do for me. Cannon fire, demon lion, life was not alone. Desiccated, rotting growth, forgotten and alone. Hallucination, aberration, demon from below. Don't tell me about perdition, don't tell me about perdition, don't tell me about perdition, I don't think you know.
Actually, that team was just bad. It was just a bad team. Games like that you can't even be mad at because your team was just so trash. There wasn't a way to win the game. I'll put it that way. No matter how well you played, there wasn't a way to win. That was a definite loss. I lost 14 LP. It's nothing. I gained 25 to 30 in D5, and I lost 14. It's really good. Damn. Just a really shit team. Go next. Okay. You can't even be mad at a game like that, dude. Like, I would get mad at a game that is winnable and someone just fucking trolls or whatever, or if it's like super late game we just lose, you know? Games like that though are just whatever.
On top of that, because of this, it just makes you 10 times more pissed off if you die or fuck something up, because you're already bored out.
I mean, like, hello? Wait, hello?
You 10 times more pissed off if you die or fuck something up, because you're already bored out of your mind. Perhaps this is just because I've become so oversaturated to the game and the market. When I first played the game, it was almost addicting, but like most addictions, that shit will fucking kill you. Now, there are a lot of communities out of games, and they go on a scale of about wholesome to fuck zone. Now, over in the wholesome, you got games like Animal Crossing and Monster Hunter. Somewhere in the middle, you probably got like Smash Brothers. Overwatch are probably near the fuck zone. But League? League's over here in the piece of shit zone. I don't think I've ever seen a community so vicious, so vile and evil as League's. The first rule of League is that everyone is an asshole. They seem to just nitpick and get pissed at you for any single mistake. You miss one CS? You accidentally flash. Piece of shit, you fucking idiot. You accidentally win the game? You buy the wrong boots.
How can you fucking
so
do that?
bad.
Fucking
Oh
up
my
that way.
fucking
Yeah,
god,
you
get
do
off my...
it.
Everyone is just so vicious and mean that it honestly drives people away from this fucking
These pussy
community
bitch boys.
and game, if you could even call it a community. I could forgive League's mediocre gameplay and lack of true updates if this fan base wasn't just fucking awful. I'm sorry, but at the end of the day, not even Riot could save this game if they wanted to, because the fans are killing it themselves. League at the end of the day
That I
is
agree.
well past its
That I
prime.
agree. That's the one true statement. The fans are killing the game themselves. Riot isn't killing the game. Riot's just up. You know, some things people might not agree with, but like the majority of what Riot puts out, I'm totally fine with, and that's just one person out of millions. But I don't really see too many flaws outside of, you know, a couple of balancing issues, whatever. The game itself is pretty smooth, pretty solid.
It was fine back in the olden days, but after being in commission for so long, you have to stop being realistic. You know, you gotta set up a retirement plan, pick a nice place on Summoner's Rift to settle down. Riot could maybe fix these problems, but after being in this state for so long, I fear that that opportunity is too far gone. But to wrap this video up, I'd say that in conclusion, to wrap up this thesis, to put the issue to bed, to sum it up, to simplify it, to finish it off, League of Legends fucking sucks.
Amazing video. Subscribe for shit like that. Wait, I won't do it, cause that was absolute trash. Oh, wait, I'm clicking off. Bye.
So I have a long history of playing MMORPGs. Since online gaming was pretty much a commonplace thing, I've played MMOs. Back in the days where you had to pay for internet by the hour, from playing Neopets after school, to Estonia 3, to MapleStory, and many games between and thereafter. And one of the things about these kinds of games that has always fascinated me was the eventual shutdown of their servers. It is inevitable that with time, attention and love dwindles for a game, and as people stop coming through the door, the company behind it decides to pull the plug and shut up shop for the last time. The most interesting thing about it for me though was the way in which some of these games shut down. Games like Tabula Rasa, a sci-fi MMORPG that shut down their servers by having the entire universe in which the game is contained obliterated. And I'm being serious, the developers set the destruction of the world on a timer basically. They had aliens invade the game in increasingly quick waves, and what few players there were left had the
That's pretty
final
cool.
experience of fighting, however futile, for their survival, until eventually the aliens they were fighting had overrun everything and the servers were taken offline. And over the past few days, I've
That's
just been
wholesome.
looking over videos of the final moments of these games. The one last hurrah from players gathered in major cities, saying their goodbyes. And it made me sad. Not because the games had shut down, because a lot of these games I never had the experience of playing, but how I feel like when it comes to MOBA games like League of Legends and stuff, I don't really think many of us will experience such a level of community as these players feel in the face of the shutdown of a game that they've poured years of their life into. So, let me rewind a bit, because today I want to talk to you guys about the death of a MOBA game.
Yeah.
I think as long as the concept of the fan has existed, there has always been fanboys and flame wars between opposing fandoms over which piece of the world is the superior product. PlayStation versus Xbox, Horde versus Alliance, Homestuck versus their parents. Hell, even back in the caveman
Yikes.
days, I'm fully certain that back then there was flame wars over which caveman drew the best stick figure with a spear on the wall with their own turds. Humans just seem that way inclined, that they love to be passionate about something. People love to get behind something 100% and just assume that everything else is heresy. And it's of absolutely no surprise to anyone that those kinds of flame wars managed to find their way into the MOBA community. For a good few years of my channel, I was really terrified to even mention Dota or Dota 2 for fear of being absolutely obliterated by League of Legends fans
In
who
the
thought of
comments.
Dota 2 not as a game that was in the same genre, bringing more people into this new genre of game that we all share together, but as heathens taking players away from the best game They're killing our video games, guys. As time has gone on though, I like to think that in the 5 odd years that I've been making videos, I've grown up, and maybe some of you guys, you know, you might have been younger when you started playing League, but you're adults now, and I like to think that, or I'd like to imagine that most of you are rationally thinking humans who can understand that you can like a whole mess of things, even if those things are competitors to each other technically. Since having this realization though, I've made quite a few videos on the things that I think Valve does really well for Dota 2 that I think Riot could really latch onto, and I also disclosed my life-crippling addiction to tower defense games. So rewind back to 2016, I ended up checking out this game.
I'm actually bored. Wasn't even paying attention.
I am...
I am
Kill
so
me.
stupid.
You can try.
Arguably throughout the history of League of Legends, Yasuo is the most hated champion in the game. When it comes to forum posts, Reddit, and YouTube comments, there seems to be no other champion that gets as much hate as Yasuo. Sure,
That's so
other
cancer.
champions are broken, and currently at the time there might be champions that are more
Wow.
overpowered, but why Yasuo? Have you ever thought of the implications of why he receives so much hate, and why so many people say his kit is as broken as it is?
He's
Well,
05. There's
that's
no
what
way
we're
he
gonna
can win.
tackle
There's
today.
no way.
Why is he always so scary
Wow.
on the
Oh,
enemy
good. I was
team,
about to
but
say.
why when he's on your team he goes 0 and 10? Where did all his hate come from? How did his kit get to be where it is today based on his development? And why is he still in this state without receiving a rework? Does his hate have legitimate grounds and reasons for it? Well, today, that's exactly what we're going to find out. I hope you stick around because this is the history of Yasuo.
It's a 20-minute video? I thought it was 1 minute and 36 seconds.
A lot of people want me dead. They call it justice. I'm the only one who knows the truth. All I have left is the wind by my side.
What other voice does this guy do? It's very familiar. What other characters?
Yasuo was first released on patch 3.15 on December 13th of 2013. In the lore, Yasuo is from Ionia. As a child, Yasuo often believed what the others in his village said of him. On his best days, his very existence was an error in judgment. On the worst, he was a mistake that could never be undone. Yasuo was originally designed by Riot's Certainly T, who in the past has maybe designed some champions that people just aren't exactly fond of. A few to note would be Darius, Yasuo, and Zoe. Yasuo's development had these 3 core ideas: dash, strike, and parry. The idea is that Certainly T wanted a swordsman, but it needed to be more samurai themed like you might see in an anime, rather than something like the current version of Master Yi. At the time, Master Yi was already the Ionian swordsman of League of Legends, so Yasuo needed to be different. Yasuo's design of dash, strike, and parry were supposed to be the core of his kit, and you can see how it's come to fruition with his 3 basic abilities. When it comes to his development, he did go through several iterations, as every champion does, but he did not receive as many changes as you might think. One of the biggest things that originally was attached to his ultimate was his dash, where essentially it became a really long version of his Q. This didn't feel that great originally because they wanted to make sure that Yasuo constantly was dashing, striking, and parrying, and if it was on his ultimate and it was one really big long dash, then maybe it didn't feel so great to be the Yasuo player. The ideas for his dash and his strike needed to be quick. They wanted this champion to be a champion about acceleration, sudden changes in movement, and to be a very quick champion. Not necessarily...
I am not even paying attention. I'm legit just not paying attention to any of these videos. Is Pixar dead? Fuck, man. All it is these days is everything dead. Well, guess what, cocksucker? You're dead too. Give it a couple years.
Oh, please, God. Please, Faker, don't be on my team. Be on the enemy team. Okay. Holy shit. Alright, no...
Ooh, I'm fighting, motherfucker. T1 versus TF Blade. Let's give it a watch. Where's the video? Whoa! Oh my god. Yeah, get the fuck back here, dude. Liquid T. Wait, what is this?
I still feel like I'm not in the mood to do that. Your TF Blade, dude, thanks for that. Dude! Oh my god. I just gotta... TF Blade is hosting me. Kayla. Thank you so much. Thank you, dude. I needed that so much. Times are really rough on this channel. Wow, thanks, dude. Idiot. Fuck you. And fuck everybody who watches you. I'll tell you that much.
I mean, if we're comparing champ pools, I agree. That guy's champ pool makes me sick. Oh my Christ, it's the worst thing ever. This guy says, wait, Shifter, I'm the king of mid lane.
Wait, what? Wait, what?
Nice.
The blackened brigands out, you best get up and run. Peaceful air now filled with fire, hotter than the sun. Shriek